What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Politics with Steve. All right, y'all. So, as usual, before we get started, I want to ask everybody to take a second, subscribe to my YouTube page, sign up for my email list. Link is below. Those are the best ways to stay in the loop on all things Politics with Steve. Without further ado, let's get to it. So, we have yet another shooting incident, this one at a ICE facility in Dallas. What the fuck? Now, the initial report indicate that the victims were immigrants being held at the facility. Obviously, the right wing will use this as propaganda against the left, even though the left wing platform is to ban and restrict the sale of guns in the United States. So it's ridiculous on its face. They'll still try it. I mean, we've already seen them without any facts being released about this, trying to blame this on the left, right? Now, one of the most disturbing things that I've come to understand with learning more about politics is politicians only care about reelection. I mean, the second a politician wins office, everything that they do is about improving their chances to be reelected. And they need votes and they need money. Now, whenever a shooting happens, the NRA funds Republican politicians to say everything is a problem except for guns. I mean, they blame the shootings on mental illnesses, a lack of prayer. When it comes to school shootings, I hear them talking about the doors and, just everything else, right? Even the politicians know that guns are bad for society. They're just literally paid to convince you otherwise. I'll keep saying this, but the United States is the only developed nation on the planet that guns are this accessible. I want to give y'all some numbers. The homicide rate in the United States is the highest in comparison to all developed countries around the world. And it is 18 times higher than the average of all other developed countries put together, right? In the last about, a quarter century, the United States had, over 100 mass shootings. For context, no other developed country around the world had more than 8 in that same amount of time in the last quarter century. Guns are so accessible in the United States that the Mexican cartels buy their weapons in the US and then smuggle them to Mexico. It's hard as fuck to get guns actually in Mexico. I think, and somebody fact check me on this, I think they only got like one gun store in like Mexico City somewhere, and it's heavily regulated, right? Literally, earlier this year, I heard the president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinberg, say that 70% of the illegal weapons Mexico got and the cartel uses were bought in the United States. She said her country don't even manufacture most of the weapons that the cartel use. And, politicians understand this, but I feel like the average right winger, they don't understand this. If good guys can get guns legally, then bad guys posing as good guys can get guns. Like, that's common sense. Like, there is no situation where only good guys can get guns. Whatever way that we restrict guns or anything like that, all it takes is for a bad guy to pose as a good guy, have all of the right credentials, and then go. I mean, half the people that do this crazy shit, thinking about the guy that killed Charlie Kirk, he had no record. Like, he would have legally been able to purchase that firearm. Like, again, if good guys can get guns, bad people or bad actors, people that want to do bad things, can also buy those guns. Now, a few talking points that, Republican politicians and the right wing give is guns don't give people, people kill people. That is incredibly stupid. Like, if the perpetrator of most of these crimes had no access to a weapon, then, countless people would still be alive. I think that's common sense, right? It also kills me when they mention things like, Chicago has violent crime, even though we have, and I say we because I live in Chicago, even though we have some of the strictest gun laws. But that argument is also stupid. Chicago is a city in Illinois that borders Indiana. There are no borders in between the two states, right? It is incredibly easy to get guns in Indiana. Again, you get a gun in Indiana, you travel right back to Chicago. It's not rocket science. So they try and act like places that have very restrictive gun laws still have gun violence. Of course, you can just purchase the guns, take a 25-minute ride to purchase the guns. That doesn't even make sense. Personally, I think the only guns we need in society are like handguns. Like, I mean, you could have a handgun for protection and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it's no reason for people to have assault rifles. I do know that people use a lot of the long range rifles for hunting and stuff like that. And again, I'm not trying to stop people that, genuinely enjoy hunting from being able to do it. But I mean, could those places rent their weapons? Like, I don't know. I feel like it got to be a better solution than to just let people have these rifles and, AR-15 just because, an alternative use is hunting. That just doesn't make sense to me.